The shadow knows.
It's Crime Beat at the Charles County Police Beat on the news desk, the 7th day of August. Not a lucky day for drug dealer and rapper Ronald Tibbs III, aka Ron Stackz. Dateline, Waldorf, Maryland. It wasn't really 31 flavors of drugs, but heck, 3 or 4 was a dealer's choice for Ronald Matthew Tibbs III. Charles County Sheriff Troy Berry reports that narco detectives served a search warrant on August 7th at 6:05 a.m. That's because the cops are early risers and the drug dealers aren't. They served it at 2332 Alava Court in the Ashford Oaks neighborhood of Waldorf. Officers located a quantity of marijuana, heroin, meth, methamphetamine, molly, 3 digital scales, and other distribution-related paraphernalia. Also, more than $8,000 in cash was located. Ronald Matthew Tibbs III, 26, of Waldorf, was arrested and charged by Detective Javon Johnson with possession with the intent to distribute marijuana and other related charges. Tibbs III, if not encumbered with a major concert, as he's a would-be rapper, has a preliminary hearing set for September 4th, 2018. On August 8th, 2018, a judge set bond at $20,000. The insane Maryland judiciary rules allowed for a certificate of eligibility for a free attorney from the public defender's office to represent Tibbs. On August 9th, 2018, Tibbs was back in his lair after posting the bail and leaving jail. The current drug dealing charges against Ronald Matthew Tibbs III aren't the first time he has rung the big bell in Charles County Circuit Court. On May 5, 2016, the grand jury issued indictments charging Tibbs with 3 counts of possession with the intent to distribute heroin and 1 count of distribution of marijuana. In a plea deal with Charles County State's Attorney Anthony Covington, a real soft touch, Tibbs entered a guilty plea to possession of pot. That's it. All the other charges were dropped on October 25, 2016 as part of the plea deal. Making the plea deal for Tibbs was La Plata attorney Ronald Matthew. State's Attorney Covington lets a lot of drug dealers get easy plea deals in Charles County. Maybe putting on a trial was too much work and tests the mettle of the large staff of prosecutors when they're facing a good criminal defense attorney. Charles County State's Attorney Anthony Covington threw a bone to Tibbs III on June 21, 2017 when he dumped felony handgun charges and accepted a plea deal to misdemeanor assault in Charles County Circuit Court. The deal. This is the deal. Tibbs III pleaded guilty and was sentenced to a mere 14 days in jail. La Plata attorney Ronald Matthew was the attorney again for Tibbs III. The case that originated in 2009 resulted in probation, which was violated in 2016 and resulted in the 2017 trial. Ronald Tibbs III proved that allegedly spreading dangerous and deadly drugs around southern Maryland is not his only way to kill. He entered a guilty plea to operating a 2006 Audi southbound on Branch Avenue prior to Birch Hill Road at 99 miles an hour in 55-mile speed zone. He was fined $530 after being cited by Prince George's County Police Officer Gallardo on May 6, 2018. Ronald Matthew Tibbs III entered a guilty plea to DWI on July 30, 2013 in a plea deal with Charles County State's Attorney Anthony Covington. The deal, the big tough-talking prosecutor made sure that Tibbs was able to not be inconvenienced with sitting in a jail cell when he agreed to a sentence of 60 days in jail with all 60 days suspended, 0 fine, and probation until July 30th, 2015. That's a DWI where you take to the road and you want to kill anybody out there, you don't care. Apparently, neither does Charles County State's Attorney Anthony Covington. Ronald Matthew Tibbs Jr., This is Daddy Tibbs, who lives at the same address as Tibbs III and is a listed owner of the property, was arrested for driving under the influence of drugs by a Maryland state trooper as Tibbs the Daddy drove southbound on Route 301 on May 3, 2016. Prince George's County State's Attorney Angela Brooks dropped the charges on August 8th of 2018. When Daddy Tibbs, Ronald Tibbs Jr., was arrested by Charles County Sheriff's Officer Charles Garner on May 11, 2016, and charged with possession of drugs such as cocaine or heroin, and specifically not marijuana, he entered into a plea deal with Covington in Charles County District Court. The deal: Daddy Tibbs entered a plea of guilty on October 4th, 2016, and he was sentenced to 1 day in jail and 0 fine. Taxpayers of Maryland should be delighted to know that they paid for the free attorney of Daddy Gibbs, in this case Ariel Werner from the Public Defender's Office. Daddy Tibbs is a real gem of a guy, too, having been charged with hit and run, possession of drugs, reckless driving, assault on a law enforcement officer, resisting a lawful arrest, disorderly conduct in a plea deal with Prince George's County State's Attorney Angela Brooks on October 13, 2011. Daddy Tibbs pleaded guilty to malicious property destruction. The charges stem from an incident in which took place on December 13, 2010. Daddy Tibbs was put on probation, which he later violated on February 8, 2013. Stand by for news about the Tibbs daddy and son.